I remember the first time I noticed his smile did not reach his eyes. My name is Sarah, and if you are listening to me right now, please stay with me to the end. Because what I did after that smile changed everything. I was lying on a hospital bed. The room was white and too bright. Machines were beeping softly next to me. My head was heavy. My arm hurt. There was a bandage around it, and a needle in my hand. He sat beside me, holding that same hand. He looked like the perfect, caring man. People outside the room thought he loved me. They thought he was here every day because his heart was full of worry. But I knew better. Only I could not show it yet. He squeezed my hand gently and leaned close to my ear. His breath was warm on my cheek. "Only 5 days," he whispered, thinking I was still half asleep. "Only 5 days. Finally, everything will be mine." Then he smiled. It was not a soft smile. It was a hungry smile. A smile that said, "I have already won." He did not know my eyes were open just a little. He did not know I heard every single word. In that moment, my heart started beating very fast. 5 days. Everything will be his? He was not talking about love. He was talking about my house, my money, my life. He thought I was weak. He thought I was not going to last. And right after he smiled at me like that, I did something. Something I never believed I could do in my whole life. But before I tell you what I did, let me say this. If you like stories that are full of secrets, pain, and strong women who fight back, please take 1 second to help me. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next part of my story. Please like this video so more people can hear it. And in the comments, tell me from which part of the country you are watching. I really want to know where my family of listeners is from. Alright, let me go back to the beginning so you can understand why that one small smile was so dangerous. Before that day in the hospital, I was just a simple woman. I woke up early every morning. I cooked breakfast. I cleaned the small house I worked so hard to build. I worked at a little shop in town and came back tired, but happy that I could pay my bills. I trusted people too much. Especially him. He came into my life like a blessing. He was warm, funny, and always ready to help. When my mother got sick, he was the one who took me to the hospital. When I cried because of money, he was the one who said, "Don't worry, we will be fine. We are a team. We are a team." I believed those words. When he asked me to put his name on some documents, I did not think twice. "Just in case something happens to you," he said, "I will help you handle everything. I will take care of the house. I will take care of your shop. I will protect you." Those words sounded sweet. I was tired, and I wanted to trust someone. So I signed. Paper after paper. Form after form. He watched me sign with that same gentle smile. If I had known what that smile truly meant, I would have dropped the pen and run far away. The first strange sign came one night, 3 weeks before the hospital. It was raining very hard. The power was out, so the house was dark. I walked into the living room and saw his phone on the table. The screen lit up with a new message. I did not mean to look. But the message was right there, in big letters. "Are you sure everything will be yours in 30 days? The papers are solid. M." My heart jumped. Everything will be yours in 30 days? I frowned and picked up the phone. My hand was shaking a little. Another message came in. "Once she is gone, you don't have to share anything. Remember what the lawyer said." My mouth went dry. Once she is gone? Who is she? The living room felt colder. I scrolled up, but before I could read more, I heard him walking down the hallway. Quickly, I put the phone back where it was. He stepped into the room, still talking on another small phone I had never seen before. When he noticed me, his voice changed. He laughed, like he had been telling a silly joke. Yeah, okay. "We'll talk tomorrow," he said into the phone. Then he hung up and slipped it into his pocket. I forced my lips into a smile. "You're still awake?" he asked. Yes, I said softly. The rain is too loud. He walked over and kissed my forehead. Don't worry, he said. Soon, everything will be better for us. There it was again. Everything. That word started to scare me. 2 weeks before the hospital, he said he wanted to surprise me. You work so hard, Sarah, he said. Let me drive you to the shop today. You deserve a soft life, even if it is just a little bit. I smiled. No one ever said things like that to me before. We walked out to the car. It was an old car, but it still worked. Usually, I was the one who checked the brakes, the fuel, and the tires. That morning, he rushed me. Come on, we are late, he said, opening the door for me like a gentleman. I got in. When I pressed the brake the first time, something felt wrong. It felt too soft. Like stepping on a sponge instead of a strong pedal. Is something wrong with the brakes? I asked. He laughed it off. It's nothing. I fixed them yesterday. They just feel different now. Are you sure? I asked again. Trust me, he said. Those 2 words burned later. We drove onto the main road. Cars were moving fast. The rain from the night before had left the ground wet and slippery. My hands started to sweat. Something inside me whispered, "Don't trust this. Don't trust this." But I pushed the voice away. 3 days before the hospital, I heard him again. He thought I was in the bathroom, but I was standing near the half-open door. He was on the phone with someone. His voice was low, but I could still hear pieces. 5 days left, he said. Yes, all the documents are in my name now. The house, the shop, the account. Once it happens, everything is mine. She has no idea. My heart froze. I stepped back in the hallway, my hand covering my mouth. He paused, then laughed softly. No, she trusts me too much, he continued. She won't see anything coming. I felt like the floor under my feet had disappeared. My legs were shaking, but I could not move. My head was full of questions. Was the car brake also part of his plan? Was I living with someone who was just waiting for me to disappear? He ended the call and walked toward the hallway. I quickly rushed into the bathroom and turned on the tap, pretending I had been washing my face the whole time. When he knocked softly on the bathroom door and asked, "Are you okay?" I answered with a small voice. Yes. I'm fine. But I was not fine. Not at all. Then came the day that led me to the hospital. The road. The car. The soft brakes. I was driving alone. He said he was too busy that morning and that I could take the car by myself. When you get to the shop, call me, he said. I want to know you arrived safely. He smiled. That same smile. I started the engine. At first, everything seemed normal. I turned onto the main road, like I always did. The sun was out. People were walking on the sidewalks. Kids were going to school. Then, a truck in front of me suddenly stopped. I pressed the brake. Nothing. My heart jumped into my throat. I pressed it again, harder this time. Still nothing. The car was not slowing down. Cars were honking. Someone shouted. My hands shook as I tried to turn the wheel, to avoid hitting the truck. The world went into slow motion. A loud scream escaped my mouth as the car spun, the sound of metal crashing against metal, glass breaking, people shouting. Then everything went dark. When I opened my eyes again, I was in the hospital bed. And he was there, holding my hand. Smiling that hungry smile. Only 5 days, he whispered. Finally everything will be mine. He thought I could not hear him. He thought I was already half gone. But I was awake. I heard everything. And after that smile, I did something I never imagined I could do. Something that, in 5 days, would decide who loses everything. And who keeps it all. The beeping sound from the hospital machine was slow and steady. I stared at the white ceiling, pretending to be weak. Pretending to be confused. pretending to be the same woman he thought he knew. Inside, my mind was wide awake. 5 days, he had said. Everything will be mine. That sentence played again and again in my head. He sat beside my bed, scrolling on his phone like a worried husband waiting for good news. Every now and then, he would look up at me and smile softly. "How are you feeling now?" he asked. I forced my lips to move. "Tired," I whispered. "My head hurts." He nodded with fake concern. "The doctor said it's normal. You were very lucky. Another small hit, and things could have been worse." Lucky. If only he knew. I watched his hands. Those same hands that held mine moments ago with that wicked smile. Those hands had touched my food, my papers, my life. I closed my eyes slowly, like I was drifting back to sleep. That's when he spoke again, low and careful. "The doctor will come soon," he said. "Don't worry. I'll handle everything for you." Handle everything. I knew what that meant now. A few minutes later, the door opened. A doctor and a nurse walked in. The doctor smiled kindly. "Good morning, Sarah. How are we today?" I opened my eyes slowly. "I feel weak." "That is expected," he said. "You had a serious accident. But the good news is, you will recover." I felt my chest loosen just a little. "You'll need rest," the doctor continued. "At least 1 week in the hospital. No stress. No strong emotions." The man beside me stiffened. "1 week?" he asked quickly. "Is that really necessary?" The doctor nodded. "Yes. We want to make sure her brain and body heal properly." He forced a smile. "Of course. Anything for her. Anything. Except my life." After they left, the room became quiet again. He stood up. "I'll go home and get you some clothes," he said. "I'll be back soon." I nodded weakly. When the door closed behind him, I finally opened my eyes fully. My hands were cold. My heart was racing. 1 week in the hospital. That already destroyed part of his plan. But 5 days was still 5 days. 2 hours later, when I thought I was alone again, the door opened softly. A woman walked in. She was older than me, with tired eyes and a tight mouth. She looked around the room like she was afraid someone would see her there. "Sarah," she whispered. "Yes," I answered carefully. "Who are you?" She swallowed. "My name is Linda." The moment she said her name, something clicked in my head. Linda. I had seen that name before. On his phone. My heart started beating faster. She pulled a chair closer to my bed and sat down. Her hands were shaking. "I shouldn't be here," she said. But I couldn't keep quiet anymore. I struggled to sit up. "What do you mean?" She leaned closer. "You are not supposed to be alive." The words hit me like a slap. "What?" I whispered. Her eyes filled with tears. "He told me the accident would be worse. He said you wouldn't wake up." I felt my stomach twist. "You know him?" I asked, even though I already knew the answer. She nodded slowly. "I've been with him for 3 years. 3 years. While he slept next to me. While he called me his future. While he told me we were a team." My chest felt tight. "What did he tell you?" I asked. She looked away. "He said you were sick. That you didn't have much time. He said once you were gone, we would finally be together, with no problems." My eyes burned. "And the papers?" I asked quietly. "Did he say anything about papers?" She nodded again. "Yes. He said everything was already signed. That all he needed was time. Time. 5 days." I closed my eyes for a moment, breathing slowly so I wouldn't scream. Linda reached into her bag. "There's something else," she said. She pulled out her phone and placed it in my hand. "I recorded him," she whispered. "I didn't trust him completely. Something about him always felt wrong. My fingers trembled as I pressed play. His voice filled the quiet room. Once she's gone, the house, the shop, the money, everything is legally mine. She already signed. After that, we'll disappear and start fresh. My stomach turned. The recording continued. 5 days. Linda. Just 5 days. After that, she won't be a problem anymore. I stopped the recording. The room felt too small. The air felt heavy. You need to give this to the police, Linda said. Or to a lawyer. I looked at her. No, I said softly. She blinked. What? If I go to the police now, he will know I heard him, I said. He'll change his plan. She frowned. Then what will you do? I looked at the hospital door. I thought about his smile. About the breaks. About the documents I signed without reading carefully. I'll let him think he's winning, I said. Linda's eyes widened. That's dangerous. I nodded. I know. I handed the phone back to her. Keep the recording safe. Do exactly what I say, and don't tell him you were here. She hesitated, then nodded slowly. Before she left, she whispered, "Be careful." When the door closed, I lay back on the bed. My heart was beating fast, but my mind was calm. For the first time, I wasn't afraid. I was planning. That evening, he came back. He brought flowers. Cheap ones, but bright. "There you are," he said with a smile. "I missed you." I smiled weakly. "Did you?" He sat beside me again and took my hand. "How long will I stay here?" I asked quietly. 5 days, he said quickly, then paused. "Maybe less if you recover fast." 5 days. I squeezed his hand gently. "I trust you," I said. His smile grew. "That's good," he replied. "You don't have to worry about anything. I'll handle it all." He stood up to leave, then turned back. "Oh," he added casually, "tomorrow the lawyer will come by. Just to update a few things." My heart skipped, but my face stayed calm. "A lawyer?" I nodded slowly. "Okay." He leaned down and kissed my forehead. "Rest well," he said. "We only have a few days left." As he walked out of the room, his smile returned. And this time, I smiled too. Because tomorrow, the game was about to change. And he had no idea what was waiting for him. The night was quiet, but my mind was loud. I did not sleep. Every sound in the hospital felt sharp. The footsteps in the hallway, the soft voices of nurses, the distant sound of a cart rolling by. 5 days, I thought. 5 days until he believes I am gone. 5 days to turn everything around. Just before morning, a nurse came in to check my blood pressure. "You're awake very early," she said kindly. I gave a weak smile. "I haven't been sleeping well." "That's normal after an accident," she said. "Try to rest. You have a visitor coming later today." My heart jumped. "A visitor?" She nodded. "Yes. The lawyer." Late in the morning, the door opened again. He walked in first. Calm. Confident. Clean clothes. Clean smile. Behind him was a man in a dark suit, holding a brown file. "Good morning, Sarah," he said cheerfully. "How are you feeling today?" "Weak," I answered softly. "That's all right," he said. "This won't take long." The lawyer pulled up a chair and opened the file. "I'm Mr. Harris," he said. "I'm here to review some documents with you." I nodded slowly, like my head was heavy. He flipped through the papers. "These are ownership and medical authorization forms. You've signed some of them already, but we need to confirm a few things." The man beside me smiled. "It's just routine," he said. "Nothing to stress about." The lawyer pointed to a page. "This document allows him to make all legal and financial decisions if you are unable to." I swallowed. "Yes," I whispered. I remember. The lawyer leaned forward. Are you signing because you want to, or because someone is pressuring you? The room went quiet. The man beside me stiffened. My heart was beating fast, but I kept my eyes down. I want to, I said softly. I trust him. I felt his hand squeeze mine, tight. Good, the lawyer said. Then we will proceed. He slid the document closer to me and handed me a pen. My fingers closed around it. This is the moment, I told myself. I raised the pen slowly, then coughed hard. I'm dizzy, I whispered. The room is spinning. The nurse rushed in. What's wrong? She needs rest, the man said quickly. Maybe we should do this later. The lawyer frowned. We can come back tomorrow. He gathered his papers. Tomorrow. Another day closer. After they left, the nurse helped me lie down. You should press the button if you feel strange again, she said. I nodded. When she stepped out, he leaned close to my ear. You scared me, he whispered. Don't do that again. I'm sorry, I said quietly. I didn't mean to. He smiled, but his eyes were hard. You just need to survive a few more days, he said softly. My breath caught. What did you say? I asked. He chuckled. I said you just need to rest a few more days. He patted my hand and walked out. My body trembled once the door closed. That afternoon, I asked for my phone. I want to call my cousin, I told the nurse. She hesitated. The doctor said no stress. It will calm me, I said. She nodded and handed it to me. As soon as she left, I dialed a number I hadn't used in years. It rang twice. Hello, a deep voice answered. Mark, I whispered. It's me. There was a pause. Sarah, I thought. I don't have time, I said. I need help. I told him everything. The papers. The accident. The recording. Silence filled the line. Then he spoke. Listen carefully. Do not sign anything else. No matter what. I won't, I said. I know a lawyer, he continued. A good one. I'll bring him quietly. When? I asked. Tomorrow morning. My heart lifted a little. But be careful, he warned. If he finds out, things could turn very bad. I hung up and stared at the ceiling. Tomorrow. That night, someone came into my room. It was late. The lights were low. He stood beside my bed again. You made me look foolish today, he said quietly. I didn't feel well, I replied. He sighed and sat down. You know I'm doing all this for us. For us, I repeated softly. Yes, he said. After this, we'll be free. He reached into his pocket and placed something on the small table near my bed. A small bottle. What is that? I asked. Medicine, he said. To help you sleep better. My heart raced. I already have medicine, I said. This is stronger, he replied. The doctor approved it. He opened the bottle. Drink, he said gently. I looked at the clear liquid inside. My hands felt cold. If I don't? I asked. His smile disappeared. I don't want you to suffer, he said. I picked up the cup slowly. My fingers were shaking. I raised it toward my lips. And at that moment, the door opened. A nurse walked in. Sorry, she said. I forgot to check the four. He pulled his hand back quickly. That's okay, he said, standing up. She was just about to rest. He slipped the bottle into his pocket and walked out without another word. The nurse checked the machine and smiled. Try to sleep, she said. When she left, I stared at the door. He tried to speed it up. The 5 days were becoming too long for him. And I knew one thing for sure now. If I didn't act fast, I would not survive to see the end of those 5 days. Morning came slowly. The sun pushed weak light through the thin hospital curtains. My body felt tired, but my mind was sharp. I had survived the night. That alone felt like a victory. But I knew something had changed. He was no longer relaxed. He was rushing. And when someone rushes, they make mistakes. Around 9 a.m., a nurse came in with my breakfast. "You have 2 visitors today," she said. "They'll be here shortly." My heart skipped. 2 visitors. That meant Mark had come. And he didn't come alone. Mark returns. A few minutes later, the door opened. Mark walked in first. I had not seen my cousin in many years. He looked older now, stronger. His eyes scanned the room quickly, like he was checking for danger. Behind him was a man wearing a simple gray suit. He carried a small notebook and nothing else. No big files. No loud confidence. Just calm. "This is Mr. Allen," Mark said quietly. "He's here to listen." Mr. Allen nodded politely. "Good morning, Sarah." Before I could speak, the door opened again, and my heart stopped. He walked in. His smile dropped the moment he saw them. "Who are they?" he asked, trying to sound relaxed. "My cousin," I said softly. "And his friend." Mark stood tall. "Family visit," he said. "She has the right." The room felt tight. Mr. Allen looked at him calmly. "Are you the husband?" "Yes," he said quickly. Mr. Allen nodded. "Then you won't mind stepping outside for a few minutes. We need privacy." His face hardened. "I prefer to stay," he said. Mark stepped forward. "She needs rest. You can wait." There was a long pause. The nurse, who had followed them in, cleared her throat. "Sir," she said, "hospital rules. Please step outside." His jaw tightened. Slowly, very slowly, he nodded. "I'll be right outside," he said, locking his eyes on me. "Don't tire yourself." When the door closed behind him, the air felt lighter. But only for a moment. Mr. Allen moved closer to the bed. "Tell me everything," he said gently. And I did. I talked about the papers, the accident, the message on the phone, the recording Linda had made. Mark listened with fists clenched. Mr. Allen did not look surprised. "This happens more than people think," he said. "Trust is powerful. And dangerous." "Can he take everything?" I asked quietly. He shook his head. "Not yet." Hope rose in my chest. "Most of the documents you signed can be paused," he continued. "But only if we act fast." "How fast?" I asked. "Today," he replied. My heart began to race again. "But there is a problem," he added. "What problem?" Mark asked sharply. Mr. Allen looked at me. "He has filed an emergency request claiming you are mentally unstable after the accident." I felt cold. "What?" I whispered. "He wants the court to recognize him as your full decision-maker," Mr. Allen said. "If that happens, he wins," Mark finished. "Yes," Mr. Allen said. "And very soon." The door opened suddenly. He stepped back into the room. The smile was gone. "There you are," he said. "I was wondering how long this little meeting would take." The nurse followed him. "Doctor wants to run a mental check today," she said. "Just a few questions." My stomach dropped. A mental check. If I failed, everything would be his. The doctor walked in, holding a clipboard. "Sarah," he said kindly, "can you tell me what day it is?" My voice shook slightly. "Tuesday." "That's right," he nodded. "And where are you?" "The city hospital." "Who is the man standing beside you?" I swallowed. "My husband," I said. He smiled. "Good," the doctor said. "And do you feel confused? Lost?" "No," I replied. "I feel scared. But I know where I am." The doctor wrote something down. He frowned. "You look stressed," the doctor said. That's normal after trauma. He nodded slowly. We'll continue the assessment later. Later. Not finished. That evening, Mark and Mr. Allen left quietly. We'll file papers tonight, Mr. Allen whispered. Hold on. I will, I said. When the room emptied, he returned. He closed the door softly. You really surprised me today, he said. I needed my family, I replied. His face darkened. You don't need anyone but me, he said coldly. He leaned closer. You're making this harder than it needs to be. I just want to live, I whispered. He laughed quietly. Live. His phone buzzed. He checked it, then smiled again. Good news, he said. The court hearing is tomorrow morning. My blood ran cold. That's fast, I said. Yes, he replied. And the doctor will decide if you are fit to speak. He stood up. Rest well tonight, he said. Tomorrow decides everything. He walked out. The door clicked shut. I stared at the ceiling, my heart pounding. Tomorrow. If I failed that hearing, I wouldn't just lose my life's work. I would lose my voice, my choice, everything. And the scariest part? He was no longer hiding. He believed tomorrow already belonged to him. I woke up before the sun. My throat felt dry. My chest felt heavy. Every breath felt like a decision. Today, I thought. This is the day he decides if I matter, or if I disappear. A nurse came in quietly. Good morning, she said. You have a court hearing in a few hours. Her voice was calm, like she was talking about lunch. I nodded, my hands shaking under the blanket. Before breakfast arrived, the door opened again. He walked in. No flowers today. No smiles. He pulled a chair close to my bed and sat down slowly. You didn't sleep, he said, looking at my face. No, I answered. He leaned closer. That's good. People make clearer decisions when they are tired. My heart started to race. Listen carefully, he continued. After today, things will be simple. You won't have to think anymore. I'll take care of everything. I can take care of myself, I said. He laughed softly. You already proved you can't. I swallowed hard. Then he reached into his pocket. My body froze. But this time, it wasn't the bottle. It was my phone. My phone. I asked. Yes, he replied. I found it under your pillow last night. My breath caught. Who were you calling so late? He asked calmly. I said nothing. He tilted his head. You really don't know how close you came to ruining everything. My hands clenched. Give it back, I said quietly. He shook his head. After the hearing, he stood up. Try not to stress yourself. Doctors don't like unstable patients. He walked out. They didn't take me to a courthouse. They brought the court to me. Late in the morning, my hospital room was changed. An officer stood by the door. A doctor sat near the window. A woman in a black jacket opened a laptop. This is an emergency hearing, she announced. We are here to decide medical and financial guardianship. He entered confidently, like he already owned the room. I'm ready, he said. Mark was not there. Mr. Allen was not there. I was alone. My heart sank. The woman looked at me. Sarah, do you understand why we're here? Yes, I said softly. And do you feel capable of making your own decisions? Yes. He laughed. With respect, he said, she doesn't always know where she is. The doctor looked at him. That's serious. It's true, he replied. Last night, she tried to leave the bed. She was confused. I stared at him. A lie. But no one corrected him. The doctor turned to me. Is that true? No, I said firmly. He shrugged. She doesn't remember. My heart began to pound. The woman typed quickly. And what about the accident? She asked. Can you describe what happened? I took a deep breath. I pressed the brake, I said. And it didn't work. He interrupted. She told me earlier she wasn't sure. I turned to him. You fixed the brakes. The room fell silent. The doctor looked up. You fixed the brakes? Yes, he answered quickly. I help with small things. And did a mechanic check them? The doctor asked. No, he said. My chest tightened. The doctor wrote something down. And just like that, I was cut off from the outside world. The officer by the door suddenly spoke. Excuse me, he said. I just received a message. He stepped forward, holding his tablet. This might be important. The woman frowned. From who? From legal counsel, the officer said. Requesting delay due to new evidence. My heart jumped. He froze. The woman read the message, then looked at me. Do you have a lawyer, Sarah? I nodded slowly. Yes. He shook his head. That's impossible. The door opened. And there was Mark, breathing hard. Behind him. Mr. Allen. We apologize for the delay, Mr. Allen said calmly. But this hearing cannot continue. The woman frowned. On what grounds? On the grounds that the person requesting guardianship is under investigation, Mr. Allen replied. The room went completely still. Investigation? The doctor asked. Mr. Allen nodded. For attempted manipulation of medical authority and possible involvement in vehicular sabotage. His face drained of color. That's a lie, he snapped. Mr. Allen looked at him. Is it? He turned to me then, eyes sharp and angry. You did this, he whispered. I met his stare. No, I said softly. You did. The hearing was paused. Everyone left the room, talking quietly. Except him. He stood close to my bed. His eyes were dark now. No mask. No smile. You think you won, he said quietly. I just want the truth, I replied. You ruined everything, he hissed. And now you'll pay for it. He leaned so close I could feel his breath. There are other ways to make someone disappear, he whispered. Then he stepped back as the officer returned. He smiled again. Get some rest, he said sweetly. Today was exhausting. He walked out. I lay back on the bed, shaking. The hearing was delayed, but not ended. And now, more than ever, I knew. If the court couldn't take my life, he would try to do it himself. That night felt different. The hospital was quieter than usual, but my fear was louder. I could feel it crawling under my skin, sitting heavy on my chest. He had threatened me. Not with anger. Not with shouting. But with a calm voice. That was what scared me the most. A nurse came in to change my four. You'll have a private nurse tonight, she said. Doctor's orders. My heart jumped. Why? There were concerns raised earlier, she answered carefully. For your safety. For my safety. Or because they knew something was wrong. When she left, I pressed my call button. A few seconds later, a tall woman with tired eyes walked in. My name is Rose, she said softly. I'll be here with you all night. I studied her face. She looked kind. But after everything I had been through, trust did not come easily. Thank you, I whispered. She pulled a chair close to my bed. Try to rest. I closed my eyes, but sleep refused to come. It was close to midnight when the door opened again. Rose stood up immediately. Visiting hours are over. He stepped inside anyway. I'm her husband, he said calmly. Rose crossed her arms. Doctor said no more visits tonight. He smiled politely. I just need a minute. He looked at me. Are you okay with that? He asked. I felt my throat tighten. If I said no, would that stop him? or make him angrier? I'm tired, I said carefully. He nodded slowly. I understand. Then he pulled something from his pocket and held it up so only I could see. My phone. My blood ran cold. I think she needs it, he said to Rose. It helps her feel calm. Rose hesitated. She looked at me. Is that true? She asked. I swallowed. Yes, but I don't need it right now. His eyes flickered, just for a second. Rose shook her head. Not tonight. You'll have to leave. For a moment, I thought he would argue. Instead, he smiled. Of course, he said. I don't want to cause trouble. He leaned close to my bed. I'll see you tomorrow, he whispered. One way or another. Then he left. Rose locked the door behind him. Only then did I start shaking. An hour later, Rose leaned closer to me. You're not safe with him, she said quietly. My eyes widened. What? She sighed. I wasn't sure before. But I am now. I stared at her. Why? She hesitated. Then she said, because I recognized him. My heart pounded. From where? 2 years ago, she said. Different hospital. Different woman. The room felt like it was spinning. He stood beside her bed just like he stood beside yours, Rose continued. Always calm. Always polite. What happened to her? I asked. Rose looked down. She didn't make it, she whispered. Tears filled my eyes. They said it was complications, Rose went on. But something never felt right. And tonight, when I saw his eyes, she shook her head. They were the same. Rose reached into her pocket and pulled out a small folded paper. I kept this, she said. I don't know why. Maybe I was waiting for another sign. She placed it in my hand. It was a name. A date. A hospital room number. The woman who died, Rose said. She had signed papers too. Same type. Same timing. My chest hurt. He's done this before, I whispered. Yes, Rose said. And now he's trying again. Fear twisted into something else inside me. Anger. Strength. Can you help me? I asked. She nodded immediately. I already am. Early the next morning, Mr. Allen came quietly. Mark was with him. Rose stood by the door. I told them everything. The past victim. The threats. The phone he took. Mr. Allen's jaw tightened. This changes everything, he said. But we need proof, strong proof. Mark leaned closer. How? I looked at the door. He thinks I'm weak, I said. He thinks I'm scared. I took a slow breath. Let him come back. They stared at me. I'll pretend I'm ready to give in, I continued. He won't resist. He never does. Mr. Allen shook his head. That's dangerous. So is doing nothing, I replied. Rose spoke up. I'll stay. And I'll record everything. Silence filled the room. Finally, Mr. Allen nodded. All right, he said. But one wrong move, and we stop. That afternoon, Rose handed me my phone. We made it look like he found it again, she whispered. My hands trembled as I typed a message. I'm tired of fighting. Let's talk. I trust you. Seconds passed. Then my phone buzzed. Good. I'll come tonight. My stomach dropped. Night was coming. And with it, the man who believed I was already defeated. He didn't know the room would be full of eyes. He didn't know every word would be heard. And he didn't know that tonight his smile would finally betray him. Night came slowly. Too slowly. Every second felt heavy, like the air itself was waiting. The lights in my hospital room were dim. The hallway outside was quiet, but not empty. Everything had been planned carefully. Mark was in another room, close enough to run if needed. Mr. Allen was nearby with hospital security on standby. Rose sat beside me, calm and steady, her phone hidden, recording. And me. I looked weak on purpose. My hair was messy. My voice sounded tired when I spoke. My hands shook just enough to look scared. Perfect. At exactly 9:17 p.m., the door opened. He walked in. No flowers. No smile. Just confidence. "You called," he said quietly, closing the door behind him. I swallowed. "I'm tired of fighting." He studied my face, searching. "Tired how?" "Tired of being scared," I whispered. "Tired of hospitals, lawyers, questions." He relaxed a little. "I told you," he said softly. "You don't have to fight anymore." He pulled a chair close and sat down. Too close. "You made things complicated," he continued. "But it's okay. We can still fix this." Rose shifted slightly, pretending to adjust a blanket. He didn't notice. "I talked to the doctor today," I said quietly. His eyes sharpened. "What did they say?" "I told him maybe I shouldn't make my own decisions anymore," I said. "Maybe you were right." There it was. His smile came back. Slow. Proud. Dangerous. "That's the smartest thing you've said in days," he replied. "I can still sign," I added. "If it helps end all this." He leaned forward. "It will." He reached into his bag and pulled out a folder. "Just one last thing," he said. "After this, you won't have to worry about anything again." My heart was beating so loud, I was sure he could hear it. I opened the folder. New papers. Final papers. I looked up at him. "You promise this ends?" He nodded. 5 days was too long," he said softly. "Tonight is better." My blood ran cold. I picked up the pen. My hand shook. "Read the last part," he said. "You don't want surprises." I looked down and read slowly. It says, "Medical authority begins immediately." "Yes," he replied calmly. "So I can help the doctors help you." I looked up. "Like the medicine you brought the other night?" He froze. Just for 1 second. "What medicine?" he asked. "The one you said was approved," I continued softly. "The one you hid when the nurse walked in." The room went silent. Rose's fingers tightened around her phone. His face changed. "You're confused," he said. "You imagined that." "No," I replied. "You did the same thing 2 years ago." His eyes went wide. "What?" he snapped. "The other woman," I said, watching him carefully. "Same hospital. Same papers." His mask cracked. "Who told you that?" he hissed. I didn't answer. That was enough. He stood up fast. "So this is a trap," he said. "You think you're clever." I shrank back slightly. "Please, don't be angry." Anger flashed across his face. "You ruined everything," he said. "Do you know how close I was?" He grabbed the folder and threw it onto the bed. "All you had to do was stay quiet," he growled. "Just like the last one." Rose stood up. "That's enough," she said firmly. He turned to her, eyes wild. "And who are you?" he snapped. "She's the one recording you," I said. His head snapped toward me. "What?" I raised my voice. "Say it again," I said. "Tell me what you did to the last woman." For a moment, I thought he would attack. Instead, he laughed. A dark, cold laugh. "You think words matter," he said. "She signed. Just like you almost did." He stepped back, looking around. That's when he noticed something. The red light on Rose's phone. Recording. "You stupid." He lunged toward Rose. The door burst open. Security rushed in. Mark shouted my name. Mr. Allen's voice filled the room. "Don't move." He froze. Hands raised. Breathing hard. His eyes never left me. "This isn't over," he said quietly. "Even now." Security grabbed his arms. As they dragged him toward the door, he leaned forward and whispered one last thing. "You forgot something, Sarah." My chest tightened. "What?" He smiled. "The hearing decides papers." Then he was gone. Silence filled the room. Rose stopped recording. Mark rushed to my side. "Are you okay?" I nodded, shaking. Mr. Allen looked serious. "We have a confession on record. Enough to stop him? Enough to end this?" I asked. He hesitated. "Almost," he said. "But the court still has to rule." My heart sank. "So it's not over?" "No," Mr. Allen replied. "Tomorrow decides everything." I lay back against the pillow, exhausted. Outside my room, footsteps faded. Inside my head, one thought remained loud and clear. He wanted 5 days. He almost got them. Tomorrow, I would find out if I truly got my life back, or if this was only the calm before the final storm. Morning arrived with heavy clouds. The kind of morning that feels like something big is about to end. I sat upright in my hospital bed, dressed neatly, hands folded tightly in my lap. My body was tired, but my mind was clear, clearer than it had been in weeks. Today was the final hearing. Today decided everything. They didn't bring the court to me this time. They wheeled me into a small room on the hospital floor that had been turned into a courtroom. Cameras recorded everything. 2 officers stood by the door. Mark sat beside me. Mr. Allen stood confidently at the front. And across the room, he sat in handcuffs. For the first time, he looked small. No smile. No confidence. Just tight lips and angry eyes. The judge appeared on the screen. "We are here to conclude guardianship and ownership matters concerning Sarah," she said. "Evidence has been reviewed." My hands trembled. Mr. Allen stepped forward. He presented everything. The recording. The brake-tampering evidence. The false medical claims. The confession from last night. Even Linda's statement. Silence followed. Then the judge spoke. "This court denies all guardianship requests," she said firmly. "All documents signed under manipulation are null and void. And the respondent will remain under custody pending criminal charges." My breath left my body all at once. It was over. As officers stood to escort him away, he turned his head slowly. Our eyes met. I expected hate. But he smiled. Weak. Forced. The same smile he gave me in the hospital days ago. Only this time, it meant nothing. He was led out. The door closed. And just like that, my life was mine again. Later that afternoon, sunlight filled my room. Mark hugged me tightly. "You survived," he whispered. "No," I said softly. "I fought." Rose stood at the door and smiled. "You're safe now." I nodded. For the first time in a long time, I believed it. 5 days. That's all he thought he needed. But he forgot something important. I was still alive. And I chose not to disappear. If this story touched you, please subscribe so you don't miss more powerful, emotional stories like this. Like this video to help others hear it too. And in the comments, tell me where you're watching from. I truly want to know who stood with me till the end. Sometimes, the biggest strength comes when the smile meant to destroy you fails. Thank you for listening.